was such a culture shock, and I knew what I was getting into. Like, I know being at one of the biggest Big Ten programs, I knew what I was coming into at Lockhaven. With some of the stuff that goes on, like in a D2 program, there's a lot less discipline. So I wanted to come in somewhere where I could act more of a coach. We got together when we first got to Lockhaven and really set our minds on changing the entire program and just creating a culture for Lockhaven and for Coach Mulrooney to like carry into the next years for the young guys.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Call The Huddle Podcast. Today I have an interview with a linebacker who declared for the NFL draft recently, Cody Romano, who's a Penn State football alum before he transferred to Lockhaven University this past season to finish up his graduate season. Cody was a first-team All-PSAC conference linebacker this past season and his first with Lockhaven after being a Penn State linebacker for 5 years. And me and Cody talked about a lot of really cool things that happened in his career, along with a lot of his other cool experiences that he's got to deal with. So I hope you guys enjoy the interview as always, and thank you for watching. All defensive guys have an identity, I feel like, especially at that position. Tell me, like, who's your GOAT on defense?
Who's my GOAT on defense? Well, I came in at Penn State as a safety, so right. That was really what I was looking to play at first, and a lot of film that I would watch was definitely Brian Dawkins, which, it pains me saying because I'm a Giants fan and whatnot, but yeah, definitely he's the GOAT for me.
Okay. I like that pick a lot. Safety is like also versatile in that aspect. And like you said, I know you played. You were recruited as a safety to Penn State from Blair Academy out in New Jersey, and then spent 5 years there, and then went to Lockhaven for your sixth.
Yep.
Which is exciting, and learning about your majoring and your school a little bit too is kind of fun. Were you more NFL or college football growing up?
Honestly, I was more NFL. I never really paid too much attention to college football. Both my parents, my dad went to community college and my mom didn't go to college. So, we never really had like a team that we rooted for in college and whatnot. So we're getting recruited out of high school. It was exciting for me and my family because, it didn't really matter where it was that I was going. We just wanted to find like the right place, like the right community, and Penn State was definitely that. So
yeah, no, it's an amazing school.
Again, Penn State fans, my family now, so
that's great. That's cool. And then staying in state and not even far from Penn State at Lockhaven is really cool too. And getting to watch your tape there is cool. I know, like I said, I know you're a hitter. Grew up playing safety and then linebacker. You're a bigger linebacker, but I know you're a hitter. Other than Brian Dawkins, is there anyone that you kind of like model your game after, like now or like growing up wise?
Yeah, I'd say LT. Definitely being a Giants fan, he was someone who I always admired watching, just like with like the tenacity that he played with, like off the edge, blitzing, going after the quarterback, something that I really think is a strong suit of mine in the game.
Yeah,
blitzing and whatnot. So
okay, and then obviously I watched a bit of your film. I know you uploaded your highlights on YouTube and everything, and I've seen some other stuff. And yeah, like obviously watching your stuff from Penn State and then how they used you this past year was pretty fun, and you coming at the quarterback a lot more and blitzing even and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I just want to talk a little bit about entering the draft, and I know you're working out down in Florida. You could talk about maybe just the draft decision and what your expectations are going into this whole thing, because it's a big process.
Yeah, it's definitely a big process, and I'm learning a lot about it because, honestly, coming out of Penn State, I didn't really have the thought to take it to the next level just because I know I'd never really got enough film there defensively. I was more of a special teams guy. And after I graduated from there, I kind of just made the decision to just, stay close and, drop down to a D2 school, try to like change the culture somewhere and be the guy to, actually make a name for myself and play every snap of the games. So yeah, going into this draft process, it's been a lot, but the working out here is good down in Florida with Tess, Kevin Dunn, Otto Bold, and all these guys. We're doing a bunch of good work. And
right.
Yeah, sorry if the Wi-Fi cuts out a little bit because that's the one problem we've been having down here.
It's actually pretty good so far, so yeah, it's all good. Yeah, it's perfect. Yeah, like going into that too, like obviously I know you are a good run defender, and like this past year I know watching just like your stuff, you came at the quarterback like both on your own, which might have been like the system a little bit too, but it's fun to see you like attack at the quarterback, and you're athletic as hell too. Like what are you looking forward to getting better at or improving this offseason in terms of just going to the next level?
Yeah, I'm working on, because I want to be more of an inside linebacker, because I think as far as my defensive playing style, I'm very good against the run, and I can cover. I think I'm fast enough to be like that Mike type of linebacker and play the middle of the field and be like a field general and whatnot.
Yeah.
So I think that would be the best position for me going into this next level.
Talking about like size, like what size are you trying to stay at throughout this whole like is there any changing of that?
Yeah. I've been working with the people down here. His wife, who runs like the nutrition part of the whole program, I've been working with her. I'm about 225 pounds right now. I'm going to try to probably get up a couple more pounds and then work on just getting lean for pro day. Make sure I'm, as fast as I can be for all that.
Is there a date set for the pro day yet, or any timeline?
No, not yet. So, I mean, I was trying to get back to Penn State, but they're not letting me back because I transferred out after I graduated. So
That's
I think
crazy.
I'm going to end up going to Temples. They don't have a date set yet for theirs. And then there's a PSAC one that they do at Gannon University for all, like the All-Americans and PSAC and whatnot.
Yeah, wow, that's cool. That's really interesting. And like I know talking about like the PSAC, the whole conference, like I know you were first team this past season.
Yeah.
Just talk about the transition from Penn State to this last season. Like what maybe stands out to you that you grew or just that you learned in that process.
Yeah. It's crazy because it was such a culture shock, and I knew what I was getting into. Like, I know being at one of the biggest Big Ten programs, all the facilities and whatnot. I knew what I was coming into at Lockhaven, but I didn't really care. I was only going to be there for the fall season, so I wanted to come in somewhere where I could act more of a coach rather than a player, and like work with the staff. And the staff at Lockhaven was super young, so they embraced everything that I had to offer in terms of like leadership and just schematically, like on defense. It was a lot of fun to work with those guys and give my insight in meetings and whatnot.
Yeah, and I know like your experience goes far back even to like playing special teams throughout your whole career until your third year at Penn State. Like what goes into that as being a coach? Like what did you learn about yourself this year or like grow as a leader?
Oh yeah, I definitely grew because Lockhaven, not to be blunt, but it was a historically bad, program, and they've been in a slump for about 45 years or something. They haven't gotten more than 2 wins in 45 years. And me and a bunch of other kids that came in, like Chris Collier, who was an All-American running back that played for us at Lockhaven, from Wagner, we got together when we first got to Lockhaven and really set our minds on changing the entire program and just creating a culture for Lockhaven and for Coach Mulrooney to like carry into the next years for the young guys.
What was like the first moment maybe where like on the team this year that you kind of had to grow into a bigger role? Was there anything that you realized like that leadership ability?
Yeah, definitely. Because with some of the stuff that goes on, like in a D2 program, there's a lot less discipline, I think, when it comes to, kind of getting the team together and focused on one goal. And, we had a couple issues during the summer when I got up there with kids going out and getting in trouble and all that. And, me and some of the leaders on the team, we came in right there. We had to shut that shit down like immediately. Like, we know how good programs work. Yeah. And like, we wanted to, change the program. So we're going to come in there obviously and just do whatever we can and whatever it takes to, figure that out and get everyone working towards the common goal.
Yeah, that's a really like a cool like perspective on that because obviously like at Penn State guys are a little bit more like expected to be able to handle things on their own. Like for example, but like going into Lockhaven, obviously, that's a whole different like role. Like tell me going into like your last season, was there anything like that you thought about coaching like in the future or anything that like stood out in that role?
As much as I enjoyed giving insight and sort of being more of like a coach or like treated as a coach than a player when I was at Lockhaven, I don't know maybe in the future, I'll think differently, but I don't know if I'd want to coach.
Okay.
Just because I like playing the game so much, in my head, I'd just be thinking, I want to get out there and play. So maybe when like my knees really finally just give it out, I'll think about taking a future role as a coach.
It's a hard lifestyle too. A lot of coaches are always they got the busiest schedules and got to worry about so much, especially the good coaches, obviously. That kind of, I remembered what I was thinking, like talking about the transfer portal and stuff like that. Obviously, like you talked about the other guys that transferred in from other programs and stuff and helped out the leadership in that role. Like that's something that I feel like goes under the radar with like the transfer portal with the smaller programs, especially. Yeah. Can you talk about how like that impacted you, like the transfer portal and what you think it brings to college football overall?
Yeah, I can't complain about it, but I mean, as far as the transfer portal goes, I don't think it's the best thing for college football. So just in terms of like young kids, like we're getting to their school like right away and, not getting the chance to play and just trying to get out of that school immediately instead of trying to develop and, build a sense of trust like around your coaches and whatnot and try like earn in your role. Cause I came into Penn State as a walk-on. So like that's all I know,
Yeah, right.
Like nothing was given to me. I had to really try and like work my ass off to, make a name for myself and get out there. But, it was great getting a bunch of, cause I think there was 13 or 14 total transfers that we got into Lockhaven. And,
wow.
We started early. We all got there in the summer before and, just really set some serious guidelines for what we wanted to accomplish and make sure that we were all on the same page. And, things just really clicked with the group that we had.
Right. Yeah.
It's tough. It's tough to do when you get that many transfers in and, to a program that historically, hasn't really gotten many, big recruits to go there and, try to change culture there. So it was cool.
Yeah, that is cool, and that's a whole like different aspect of everything. And obviously there's different programs that like Penn State has a different grasp on it than other programs would, or like everything like that. Obviously, talking a little bit, just like if you're talking to a fan or like a scout or coaches or anything that doesn't know your game much, like what game would you tell them to look at this year or throughout your career as a linebacker?
Ooh, I'd say to watch. Probably our game against Kutztown. Kutztown was a team that, they were the guys to beat, at least in the East Conference of the PSAC. They ended up making it all the way to like the finals. And, or actually, I don't know. I think they might have won the championship, the D2 championship. But, second play of the game, tight end caught a little glance route, like right in front of me. Turns, I pop him, fumbles the ball right away. We get the ball, crowd's fired up. But, our defense was standing solid the whole game. I was flying around, but we couldn't get any points on the board. Ended up losing 7-3. So it was a tough one, but
that is tough. Yeah, that's crazy.
It was definitely one of my better games.
I know the PSAC's got a lot of good teams and like big lines, like big line play throughout a lot of it. Like going to Kutztown and other schools throughout the PSAC. Like talk about
finally getting shed on PSAC too, which is cool. It's cool to see with Tyson Badgett from from Shepherd and those guys getting out of there. So
I forgot about him actually being in that conference too. Yeah. Talk about like I know you played special teams so far throughout your career. Did you play a lot of special teams this past year?
I did not. I didn't play a single rep of it. I played some punt, but my coach, because at D2, like I get what he wanted because he doesn't want me getting hurt. There's not enough depth at these places, but I was like, I'd try to push every week just to get some special teams reps, just to try to get some film there. But he was trying to save me.
Right. I bet special teams is fun because that gets you like hitting and running. But I can see what your coach is thinking. You didn't get a single rep.
If I'm a big team, I think that's a huge focus that I want to incorporate into my game. I think that gives us a big time edge and getting up to the next level. So.
Yeah, and you've got film on that too, especially being a special teamer at high end level and doing that type of stuff. But yeah, that is an interesting part of that, and
Yeah,
getting the film on for training camp teams and stuff like that, especially. That's a bigger part of that. Um,
exactly.
Going into like the rest of this little bit, uh, like everyone, I feel like every person in football like, usually has something that they're really good at. Like what are your smarts as a football player, Cody?
As a football player, what do you mean, like?
Like what was the first thing that stood out to you that you were natural with? Because I feel like in terms of film
Okay.
room stuff or even like physical things or running downhill versus like not like
Yeah, yeah.
what stands out in your mind as a football player and your smarts?
So what definitely stood out to me, which I didn't get like much work of like during high school, is playing man to man. And really, once I got to Penn State, it's every practice we're doing one-on-one reps before practice and really getting the work in. And I could probably count on one hand the amount of times I've lost one-on-one reps at that place. And like to go against the competition that I've seen there and the types of players, like I always knew that I could play at that level. I didn't get as many chances as I wanted to show that, but I think having that experience and getting to really know what my strengths are in the game, especially at that level, was something very
That's a big,
very good to see.
yeah. Obviously, that's a crucial part of being a linebacker and being
Yeah,
that type of linebacker too, where like you're in the box, you got to be able to cover man on man usually, or drop back at least. Were you able to give any like tips or anything that you picked up on from playing, like switching, transitioning, like to guys this past year about like different positions or coverage lineups?
yeah, definitely. I mean, I ran most of the individual workouts for Lockhaven practice. I brought a bunch of the individual drills that we would do from Penn State just to give some insight on what techniques are and certain stuff.
That's cool. And I know you guys got a bunch
Yeah.
of athletic receivers too, so that must have been something that you guys were
Oh, yeah,
harping on
great.
too. That's cool.
Yeah.
Like talk about like your football career. Obviously, you've had some of the best coaches, and then this past year you got to experience a whole new coaching staff. Talk about like your coaching history. Like I know Blair Academy, even you had a great coach. Like talk about like some of your best coaches and what you like learned from them.
Oh yeah, man. There's a lot of them. I was at Kittatinny Regional High School, which is a small public school in New Jersey, and the coaches there never really saw eye to eye with me, but they were good coaches, good people, and I enjoyed my 4 years there. And then I ended up doing that post grad year at Blair,
Okay.
where I met Coach Saylor, who played a massive role in getting me recruited and like getting my name out to coaches because I had nothing coming out of Kittatinny because it was a smaller school. And then I got recruited to Penn State by Ricky Ronnie, who was there for 1 year. Ended up going to Old Dominion to coach there. But yeah, I worked with Coach Banks, who was my safeties coach at Penn State.
Okay.
He was a great coach. And then Coach Pry was when I switched to linebacker. When I got to Penn State, when I switched to linebacker, that was where things kind of took off for me, I think. He took a liking to me, and I got to more like one-on-one time with my position coach and him, and especially in Manny Diaz too. Both of those guys, I think, played a big-time role in the type of player that I am now.
Yeah, that's cool. You're good. Keep going.
Yeah, and then Coach Mulrooney at Lockhaven, has a lot of experience playing. He played at Stony Brook. He's a great linebacker, highly recruited out of high school. And like just getting to come in as more as a peer, it was a lot easier for me to learn and to like really get the game of football. Although like schematically it wasn't as intensive, the stuff that we were doing defensively. It was definitely a different type of way for me to learn and get better at the game that I enjoyed a lot.
That's cool. And like talk about like the relationships with those coaches. Like what were your relationships like? Like you talked about obviously Coach Pry at Penn State before he went to Virginia Tech. And then like Manny Diaz obviously is another one of those guys that like loves to rotate guys in the defensive line and linebackers and stuff. Like what were your relationships with them like on a personal level? Like and how did that go?
They were great. When I first got to Penn State, that was probably what I struggled with the most, was getting on a personal level with Coach Banks. Felt like he didn't really like me, but like things weren't going terrible. and then made the switch to linebacker. And Coach Pride took a liking to me. We'd go over to his house all the time for dinners and whatnot. Got to meet his family, his kids, and really build like a nice relationship. Yeah. And then Manny Diaz, just as like most down to earth coach that I've ever met. Was not expecting it, but he takes everyone side to side, like on a personal level, one on one, and just talks about life and all kinds of things. So it was definitely helpful for me to get those types of coaches throughout my career to really boost me forward into this next level.
Yeah, and then although it's like kind of like a carousel, like coaching carousel between guys and assistants, especially moving and getting better positions, which is obviously great. Like I feel like you said, getting the different perspectives, which is the best part, and guys that are obviously getting better jobs.
Is what's going to get you to the next level. Even just little things. If you're not with them for a long time, like it's super important to just really hone in on what they're teaching and try to, just bounce ideas between each coach.
Yeah, because like having an understanding and like it only comes through communication, obviously, and that's one like you said, not having like that first like that the ability at first, like being open and up to getting relational and stuff like that with coaches closely is a big step. I got a couple more before I let you go, Cody. I really appreciate all the time. This has been fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I got a deep one and then a fun one real quick. Just cool. Like tell me like obviously I know like a little bit about your major and your sports management, your master's a little bit. Just talk about like football or outside of football. Like what do you look for day to day? Like what's your passion in life?
My passion in life, I would say, obviously football is one, but that's definitely not the main thing. I think the people that I have in my life, I'm a super big, I'm Italian. I got a big family, and that's what I cherish most in life. And just staying close with, everyone in my family, everyone that I meet throughout my life, especially in football. I think family is one of the most like important things when it comes to this sport. And, you never know how long you're going to be with people, especially when we get up to the next, like if we get up to the next level, like it's important to keep those relationships and really, because, I think that's the key to happiness really is having those relationships.
Yeah. And that's something that I've talked with guys on here is like small relationships that from like your first few years of college that you don't even know, like are going to grow into bigger ones throughout your NFL career or your even other professional outcomes and coaching and all that comes with it is like you don't even see it coming, but obviously the world keeps growing and it's cool. Like I got like talking, I know what is it, the championship games this upcoming weekend. This should be out before then, but tell me what's your Super Bowl prediction, your two teams, and you got a winner?
Oh man, I hope the Lions take it all the way.
That's what I'm saying.
I was rooting for the Pack. My brother's a big Packers fan, but they took a tough loss. But I'm rooting for Detroit. Been too long.
Okay, who do you think comes out of the AFC? Because that's the tough one, obviously. It's crazy.
I think it's got to be the Ravens. Yeah.
I disagree, but we'll see about that.
No, you disagree. All right.
I've been saying all year the Ravens they got two smaller receivers and Mark Andrews won't be back yet. So we'll have to see about that.
Team to not root for him.
Nah, I feel that.
Got out of high school with so.
Yeah, right. Okay. That's cool. I'm thinking the Lions too. I hope they go all the way, but I don't know. But yeah, man, I appreciate you taking the time. This was a bit, but yeah, I appreciate you taking the time, and I'm excited to looking forward to your pro day, and everything you got going on and training wise, and seeing how you grow over just the off season and then into next year.
Yeah, I really appreciate you reaching out, man. It was good talking to you.